According to a new report by Stats Canada, households in our country $1.67 for every dollar earned, and it's the highest level of personal debt Canadians have seen yet. Here to discuss the dangers of this is Brian Betz, debt counselor with Money Mentors and not-for-profit credit counseling service. Brian, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Shauna.
Brian, what does this news about the household debt ratio mean?
Well, I mean, in itself, it's a number, right? And so, but the more interesting thing for me is that basically this figure has doubled since, I think, 1990. We were in the low 80s, and so we're at $1.67, $1.69, somewhere in there now. So over the last 30 years, our debt load has doubled. There's a lot of factors at play here, but to me, that's a big thing, a big issue for a credit counselor, obviously.
Okay, so is it normal for the country to see this much personal debt?
Well, I think, it's a very complicated situation. Part of it, obviously, is housing prices. Housing prices have gone up, therefore mortgages have gone up, and that's part of that number as well. The other thing that's happened here is ease of credit, the interest rates. What we didn't have a lot of back in those days, which people seem to forget, are credit cards. And credit cards are the big evil as far as we're concerned because it's so easy to spend money. It doesn't really hurt you in any way. It's a lot trickier to hand over money in cash than it is to just punch in a pin or to sign on the dotted line. So I think, again, there are a lot of factors at play here. So is it normal? Sign of the times maybe, but I don't like it.
And what is the situation like amongst Albertans?
Well, Albertans, again, over the years, we have traditionally had higher incomes, and therefore we spent more money. And, it's tough for Albertans because we see all of these people making more money, working for an oil company, for instance, or whatever. And you don't understand, you don't know what's behind those assets. You don't know if they borrowed for them or whatever. But, you see people getting rich and you want that too, and everybody's making it easy for you. And so Albertans right now have the highest level of debt across the country. And now with our oil situation and the economic situation, our incomes have been down a little bit, and so people are struggling to maintain that debt.
So is it all bad, though? There are other reports that many people have increased their net worth by investing smartly.
You're asking a credit counselor. I think it's bad, okay? I'm not going to say anything to the contrary. But I think, again, it's human nature. But as we go forward, again, with people making less money, job or wage growth has not kept up with inflation. And so people are earning less. And I don't know if you can say that people are worth more and it's good to take it on or not, because for all intents and purposes, at some point in time, housing prices may go down. And so a lot of people will say, well, yeah, you've got to take on that debt in order to get that house, and you're going to build equity and all that sort of stuff. But we've gone through the boomers growth cycle, and I don't know whether housing prices will continue to go up. There's only so much that people can afford. So again, as a credit counselor, no, absolutely not, Shauna.
Okay, so then, as a credit counselor, let our viewers know, if you can, what's an okay amount of debt for a household to carry then?
Oh boy, that's really, excuse me, a tricky question. It's hard to say because everybody's situation is so unique. So again, I would go back to the old total debt servicing ratio. But again, I think one of the problems here is the banks, and the banks are not your friend, and they're not going to be able to tell you what you can afford. They want to sell you as much debt as they can. It's changed a lot since I started out in banking many lifetimes ago. And back in those days, to get a credit card, for instance, you really had to go through hoops. These days, everybody's handing them out left, right, and center. So it's a tricky situation, and I would say if you have any doubts, you need some objective analysis, and that's where maybe at Money Mentors we can help you. So you can come in and we'll do just a free analysis on your situation. But again, I wouldn't trust the banks in this particular regard. They're out to sell you debt, and I think you want to take it with a grain of salt.
So you want education, of course, to be the main message here, don't you?
Financial literacy is a big key, but again, human beings are not rational. They don't have perfect self-control. So I mean, it is what it is. They see other people having things and they want those things, and it's very easy to get. So to have self-control is a very, very difficult thing in this day and age.
Well, hopefully a lot of people listen to you and reach out. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.